Additions to the agenda? Kim?
Nope.
Jack?
No,
Nope.
Merv? No. Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Anyone have any peculiar interest? So, no. Approval minutes of the October 8th meeting. Any errors or omissions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes of the October 8th meeting. Kevin, you're on.
Okay. Anyways, there's a few items I just want to have a little chit chat about, just to get your feedback and your input. One is the right now is the Olympia. We got Matt Cherry's doing a logo on the side of it. And
Looking good.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
He's sponsoring the whole side of the Olympia,
Both sides?
just the one side.
Okay.
And on the other side, we have Laverne Heidemann and Ralph Sell.
Really looking good. Really looking good.
Kids will like it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And the other is our Christmas dinner. The ad will be going on the paper this week to tender for the dinner. Last year we had roast beef, ham, and turkey and trimmings. Status quo kind of deal. Is that what we're?
It was good. Yeah, really
As long
good.
as not Farmer Rappa's donuts.
Donuts, yeah, donuts and cheese
See,
for dessert.
I'm so glad you brought it up, Merv, because it's going to look really bad if I keep bringing that up over and over myself. So I'm glad you threw that in.
Someone will think you're partial.
That's exactly right.
Last year we had 204 plates. So once we get closer to the date, we'll have to get a list of people that are coming to dinner, so we can give the person a number.
you finalized the date on that already, right?
Yes, yeah. It is December the 6th.
I think it was December 6th.
December 6th.
Seventh.
Seventh. One other item I want to touch base with is the schools in the past have been renting the ice for their skating, and in the past they were getting the ice at $50 an hour. We're looking at raising that up for next year. So I just want to make you aware that this year the ice time is.
And how much of an increase are you thinking, Kevin?
We're looking at $100.
Old government.
That's just for the schools or what?
That's just for the schools, yeah.
So how many hours do you actually get from the schools? Like how many hours?
Probably 4 hours. Like each school does it differently. Like they come down maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes more.
So you're looking at maybe 10 hours in total for
Yeah,
both
probably.
schools?
Yeah, that'd be max. That'd be maximum.
So
What's our standard rate anyways in comparable?
Rate for minor hockey is 125.
Yeah.
For adults 165.
I just don't think we should go so quick, so fast. I don't know.
But we're just thinking for next. Like this year it's going to stay at the
At
$50. But then next year we're thinking of
Going right, doubling it.
well.
I think it got lowered about 3 years ago,
Got
because
lowered.
it was 100 and it got
Okay.
lowered to 50.
So why was it lowered? Schools requested or why?
I don't know.
Because I wasn't on council, it was during, so I'd like to know why it was.
Because one thing we don't want to do is have a reduction in usage, because especially, with a lot of kids using it, that'll generate interest and keep them motivated.
I don't know if the school asked. or
Kevin,
if
that's,
it's council driven at that point.
That's during daytime that they'd be
Yeah.
renting it?
Yes, correct.
So like most of the time, like how often in a Monday to Friday is the daytime used? Not very much.
Not a great deal.
Not a great deal. So pretty much this would just sit vacant. So really, the only requirement is we just have to do the surface.
Clean the surface.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So
Like, I think I'd want to revisit why it was lowered first, if it was at school's request,
Okay.
you know what I mean? So that at least us, as current council know why the reason why it was lowered. Or was it did council just decide?
Meredith Jameson brought the issue forward.
Yeah, but was it from school driven or was it just her
I'm
idea?
not sure. I think she might have been chair of parent council at the time.
well, this is a request for next year anyways, just so
Yes.
we can get it out to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty much a standard is 125, 165.
Yeah.
For minor, yes.
So they're a reduction of 75 right now off the students' rate or kids' rate,
Yeah.
minor hockey.
Because
Okay.
right now, we've had requests for ice time, so that's that. So I just want.
But I just think we should do our homework, reason why it was, if it was school's
Yeah.
request or what.
Yeah, so who is requesting the ice time now? Was the school themselves or someone else?
No, the school, they're just,
Oh,
they're just
okay.
inquiring and say, okay, we're booking ice. Is it the same as last year? And
And
now,
the school is paying.
that's correct. Yeah.
I have no problem with the raising or changing it, but I'd just like to know why it changed before, why it went down.
I guess the rest of the items, the winterizing of the buildings, Centennial Park has been winterized this week. So that's splash
Any
pad.
idea what it costs to winterize it? Company to come in and winterize it?
The splash pad
Yeah.
was $450. That was a company out of Pitawaba, and it was much more reasonable than the previous one.
Things you weren't told before Christmas.
You don't know, well, you guys haven't finalized the total for the water bill yet, right? And splash pad, because that number you gave us before was not to the end of the year, right?
That's correct. I am not sure exactly, Jack, what that would be.
So you're shutting down the tourist booth right now?
It's shut down right now.
Okay.
The water filling station has been removed, water's been shut off, drained, yeah.
Winterize, ready to go.
So
Yeah.
that's something we'll have to revisit and maybe, because I have guys working at the plant, they might have to come here to use the facilities
Oh, okay.
because they were using
Mhm.
the washroom for, they'll be back next week, right?
McCray Park, I was talking to Abram this morning. He's the site manager for the project. They're planning on pouring the pad next week, weather permitting. So. The fountain's been removed from the river. Planter boxes are off. We had a call in from Cormac Park that a vehicle had hit a stump along the edge of the entrance. And so I went up, took a look at it, and we're going to have to remove it. It's at the edge, shoulder of the road. So
You have to remove it or just cut it off at ground level?
both is pretty much rotten anyway,
Okay.
so it should be just taken out. And
Mhm.
that would eliminate the issue. Yeah. Also, there was a caretaker notifying me about a tree that's got some dead limbs on, so we'll have to look after that while we're up there with the machinery.
So as far as Opiongo Park, we
Yeah.
touched on earlier, you're working with that group up there too?
Yeah, I've been touching base with Danny and not recently, but yes, I've talked to him.
As long as we get something, like
Yeah.
I said, we don't want that funding to
Oh, no, we don't
elapse.
want to lose that for sure. Yeah. Now, Dana's report here is the zoning and bylaw report. I'm not sure if there's any issues with or any concerns. And one item that I was talking here on Dana's report was was in conversation about the charge for the pickleball. And we looked into that, and that's just because the cleaning purposes of cleaning after the event. And that is my report. Any questions?
I like the newsletter, by the way, Dana.
Mhm.
Did you? Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
Looks okay, because I'm hoping to print that then on Monday.
The thing that shocked me is we're looking at the Christmas tree lighting already.
I know.
It's coming quick.
And you brought that up, Christmas lighting is now the lights on the bridge. Last year we had some issues with the cable. putting it
Okay.
up.
Weren't you gonna buy new lights? They pretty much had it.
Well, it
Or
was,
something.
it was in conversation. I'm not sure if we got total direction, go ahead and purchase, but if that's the overall consensus, then we want to act on it fairly quickly.
How much were the, like, if we had to replace the lights, what were they, do you think, off the top of your head? Do you know?
Not offhand.
What does it cost us for the dam? What, 1,500? So that'll be that at least.
Yeah, and we have 12 strings of lights.
So how long were the lights?
Be very close to 100 feet, Jack.
Yeah.
Think you can get another year out of them or
Anyways, well, it's,
we'll look at them closer and,
it'd be the cable that I'd have more concern with.
yeah, breaking down
Because it
insulation.
did last year.
Dana, for
We
the,
did a lot of patching
Yeah.
last year to put.
for the revitalization fund remaining, could that be something that we bring up at our next meeting
We could,
with
right?
the group, just because like we all allotted some of the money for like the slide, obviously.
Mhm.
And then, so I could talk to them because we have about $1,000. We have to see if it's gonna get spent this year or not. If it's not spent, then
Yeah,
it could be something that we can help kind of contribute. So we have our meeting, so that's the first Wednesday of November.
Yeah,
So that I
'cause
can have an answer.
we have approximately 4 weeks total because we have a tree lighting on the last Friday of November.
Okay.
So
I know when I purchased the lights for the dam, I did a lot of them. I got shopped around. I got them quite 40% off, right?
mhm.
When you buy a mass buy that time.
I think it's not, in my opinion, it's something that we probably should carry on, just because it brings a lot of people, especially coming out of the hill and stuff. Just I've
Oh.
talked to a lot of people. It's something that we'll want to carry on, but I can have a conversation with the group and see if, because we've been allocating moving money around in that $40,000 fund and try and make it last. And
And we usually leave those lights up until after the
Township.
Yeah, yeah. So you want them fairly durable too.
Well, yeah. And Home Hardware's been very generous to us
Okay,
with
that's good.
the lights.
so November 6th, I have the meeting. So that's 2 Wednesdays.
And then in the interim, I'll maybe touch base with Home Hardware. and
Get a
see-
price.
Get a price.
Yeah.
And do some search and see.
I think that's a good idea and give that to us the next time, and then if we know it's there, we can pull the plug and get it going.
Yeah, no, we need a price, and then we can figure out where we can find it.
So you're just gonna basically replace all the lights then? What's the condition?
It's hard,
Yeah.
once you start
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make it look,
yeah, because the problem is they over time, they change in color. Right?
that's right.
And then if you buy, depending on the color, soft white, whatever, then those lights were a different color than what I had in the dam.
Well, and last year too, there was a mixture because we did have to replace a couple strands and you could definitely tell the difference in the color.
Okay, we'll get get some, get a price for the approximation on a box. And that's what we need in total. Go from there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay,
Thanks, Kevin.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Steve? All right, good to go? As good as you'll ever be. All right. Hey, Steve?
Press didn't know about this today, the meeting?
Sorry?
Press wasn't about the meeting today? Did you know about
Press?
this?
Yeah, they would have been told.
Yeah.
It's just us guys today, nothing to worry about.
All righty. So is there any question on the information items?
So we're now going the 30th of October,
Yep, next Wednesday. I got you on the list there, Murph.
9 o'clock?
Yep,
Eight, is it 8 or 9?
yeah, and I've got you on the list
At eight?
too. Jack, yeah.
The other one was 9.
I think it's 8, is it? Or what time is it supposed to start?
I'm sorry, I didn't put my hearing aids in, so you have
8 or 9, what time does it start?
8:30-ish, you know, if you want to have coffee and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He starts at 9 o'clock. And the other just an information item is on the women's GHS. So if you know anybody that needs it, and we'll be offering that to the public at $10 a copy for the women's GHS upgrading. Because as you know, as it says here, like WMIS is dead. It is now called WMIS GHS, and everybody has to kind of redo it. So I made a package up to upgrade everybody, and it's going to be available to the public if anyone wants to do it.
And that's $10.
Yeah, $10 a copy because
Yeah.
it's a take-home self-study package.
Yeah.
With a quiz, and then you just send it back and. For the 5 of you in here, don't forget this Friday afternoon, and we're going to be doing it in the kitchen.
Oh.
I'm just gonna, because we have 2 coming from Admaston Bromley and 2 from Brudenell Lindock, and a couple of others coming for the training. So
Okay.
that's the IMS 100.
Because Jennifer won't be here, right? Or is she gonna be here?
Sorry, Jack.
Jennifer won't be here this Friday, or is she?
No, she's exempt.
Yeah.
And the fire chief is exempt, but the other department heads will be here. And then 29th of November, and we'll talk about that more after. One small change from what I had written in the report. I had talked about an in-house committee. I talked to a couple of the department heads yesterday, so we're gonna strike that, and we're just gonna do it by department instead. For example, just to give you an example of the kind of stuff I'm talking about is this building here, for example, on the other side of the fire hall side. Just the questions that are asked, is it a publicly accessible space? For this one, yes, because they do the breakfast and stuff. So what needs to be done? And that's pretty simple. All they need is access to the accessible washrooms. There is nothing, I've gone through all of the buildings already, and there's nothing major anywhere that needs to be done. But it all has to be done before 2025. So
Got a day or 2, yeah.
we have a few days, so 1 or 2. And that's just on the staff input discussion points, and that's just what I'm talking to staff about now before I can finish the 2019 compliance report. And that's just the things that we have to talk about. We have to sort out. Most of it is policy and procedure stuff. So we're working on it. On the public spaces one, I've already spoke to Kevin and we've got a plan going forward for that, so. And then we come to the shelter.
Yes.
Well, it was kind of a good news, bad news thing, and as you read through the report, you probably noticed that in 2017 and before, we actually made a profit. Not much, you know, a couple of $100 a year, but it was at least breaking even. The big problem started in 2018 when two things happened. We had one of our partner municipalities dropped out. And we were ordered to remove the wooden dog runs that we had, which increased our staff time because now they had to come in 3 times a day to take dogs out so they could do their business and stuff. So in 2018, that resulted in a $3,420. Or sorry, wrong one.
58.
58.
Yeah, $5,800 shortfall, which is carried on into 2019. In 2019, this summer, we had to remove all those old runs, and and instead of doing it in-house, which was very expensive, we got some casual labor to do it, which would cost, and then the increased staff time on top of that. As you can see, we have taken as many steps as we can to reduce our costs. Our staff time, she's working on the absolute minimum. And I don't take shifts down there because for the obvious reason. We have restricted the number of surrenders that we accept. Of the surrender program, we've only been, historically, we've only accepted surrenders from especially the elderly when they have to move into a home or something like that. We'll take their dogs and try and rehome them for them, stuff like that. We've been charging the minimum, but now we're starting to charge a little bit more to try and make up some of that shortfall. And the other program that we cut right down was the program we were calling the short-term resident program, and that was only open to our residents and residents of our partner municipalities. Where let's say Mrs. McGillicuddy had to go into the hospital for 2 days or 3 days, we would keep her because there are no kennels in the area. They're all outside the area and they're very expensive. So only for our own residents and stuff, we would keep them for the 2 or 3 days. But we haven't been doing that because we don't, it works out that they pay $10 a day for us keeping their dog, but it costs us $30 a day for it to stay in there. So we've been cutting down on that. But that has been opened up all of our partner municipalities, not just Bonnechere Valley. So all that being said and done, my recommendation there is that we go. It's been 7 years, 8 years since we went back to municipalities and told them that they had to pony up a little bit more. We've crunched the numbers, and if we go back to our partner municipalities and ask them for $50 a month more, starting in 2020, that should cover all of our shortfalls and put us back in the black.
I think one of our pictures should be to let them know that we had to cancel or rip up that run, that we need to have to build
The renovation,
a different run. A new run.
Well, I'm not going to put in a new run. That is not cost effective. That would cost us pretty close to $20,000 to build a new run.
Little fellas exercise.
So, well, what I'm proposing, what I'll be budgeting for next year is simply, it's a 16 by 20, just one single 16 by 20 space. Because we over the last year and a half, we only had like one dog in there at a time or so.
Chain link fence and steel post?
No, it'll be a 5 foot, just regular fencing in 2x3 fencing
And steel post?
and steel posts.
What about the ground?
Because it's not a run, it doesn't have to be concrete.
Okay.
So it can be on dirt because it's not classified as a run. It's an exercise area.
I was afraid I was going to put plastic around my mailbox post.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all how you look at the wording of it, right? So,
Isn't that something?
Yeah, so then you can only leave them out there for sure. Apparently, it's a short period of time, right?
yeah. So it's simply going to be a 16 by 20 space.
Don't make it too big in case they come along and tell us we have to concrete the floor.
Well, no, because it's not a run. It's an exercise space. So
Okay.
it makes a wording difference. And that, I think the maximum on that, based on looking at other things to be done. So we'll be doing less than $5,000 on that. So
We just sort of made a sign up the last time that said, look at this, it's not a run, it's an exercise.
Should have just taken inside.
Yeah.
Fences down.
well, if I had taken all the center walls out, but their problem was with the wood,
Yes. Yeah.
because apparently a dog can go to the washroom on the wood and other dogs can lick it and get disease.
That's why I was going to protect my mailbox post.
Yes, yeah.
I asked
Fire
the
hydrants
point-
and any
I
dog
noticed
parks
it.
that we have.
Yeah, but
Trees?
apparently because it was, they were individual runs, it was different. So you can't fight them on that, so. So that's about it. That's where we're at these days.
So have you contacted the municipalities? Have you felt
I'm
them?
sorry?
Have you contacted the municipalities at all to feel them out?
No,
About
I
this
wanted to
increase?
brief council that that's what I was recommending and get your input on that before I write them a letter, so.
I'm just wondering if you should write them a letter or if we as council should write them a letter before the year end, before they start budgeting.
Might be a good idea to give them a heads up and,
Well, that's, yeah.
and to why. It's only
to why.
neighborly, right? And I'm sure that they would understand.
Do you want me to draft the letter up for you, or I will draft it up and email it out to you?
That's council thing.
Yeah, give it to us and we'll.
So, you know,
I'm a-
it's their council that has to make a decision, so it should be our council that asks.
That's right.
Yeah, it's because it's a budgeting item.
It's a budgeting item.
Other than
Agreed.
that, life is good,
Good show.
and I'll see you all Friday,
We'll see you Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
and there will be cookies.
Like, cookies
Cookies.
are good.
I thought it'd be coffee with a little bit of Bailey's.
I can only push the CAO so far.
Oh, I see. She pushes back.
Yeah, exactly. Right, is that it?
That's it?
Perfect.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve.
Cheerio.
Sandra?
Financials are in your package. New timesheets are in the package. Jason and I attended an insurance seminar, which was very interesting. And there's a new library agreement in your package too. So we just added an insurance clause that our insurance company recommended and approved. And then as well, I just changed I updated how we pay them based on how we've been paying them.
I was wondering if we should, does the CEO at the library get a copy of the agreement, you know?
Yeah, I talked to her about it.
Okay.
I will send it to her once it's passed,
Yeah,
but I had
okay.
talked to her about it and told her what we were changing in it, because she actually helped me update the legal stuff on the front of it.
So were you able to get a copy of that insurance thing so Jason can brief his
Oh,
staff
did-
on that?
Yep.
You got a copy? Okay.
Yeah, Jason will be doing that with his staff then.
Perfect.
And then also Dana and I had a meeting with county planners.
I guess Mark isn't here. Does anybody have any
Questions on his building report?
question on the building?
This, there was talk of transferring the stuff. Have they done anything? Transferring his hard copy to soft, remember? Updating his file?
For the septics?
Well, not just septics in general. There was talk. Remember Jennifer talking about that? We were looking at maybe additional personnel to get this thing updated.
Oh, like for Mark's records?
Yeah, for his records and stuff.
Oh,
Has that been looked at or not, or no, I guess not.
That was back in end of July, early August.
no. But ironically, we have a staff member who's out due to an illness. So I am doing an accommodate to work for them because they can sit at a desk.
Right,
So I'm hoping next week that staff member will be starting to scan Mark's documents. But it was completely unrelated to that.
oh, okay.
It's just somebody who's on,
Because I think when we had those other individuals here, that was one of the main issues they were talking about. And I thought we were looking at maybe possibly updating.
Yeah,
some
Beer
stuff.
rights.
Oh,
I think,
no, I don't know, I wasn't involved.
Jack, if I recall, I think Brian left that to Sandra's discretion when she
Okay.
took over, because I think Brian's recommendation was to see if we could temporarily bring a staff in for 1
Yeah,
to 2 years.
Brian
I
had
think it
wanted
was.
to hire somebody
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
to just
start
update.
that, but
But-
we hadn't taken that
No.
any further.
Yeah, but if you have this individual, then they
yes.
could do that.
Do we need a special program for that?
No,
No,
We just need a scanner.
I'm just, James got me a price on a portable scanner. It's less than $200 because this individual can sit at a desk.
Okay.
They can't do their job,
No, what I'm talking
but they
about,
can sit at a desk with their,
I'm talking
and scan
about,
for us.
I'm talking about if you had a program, if you had to search,
oh,
something that's readily accessible.
Well, if it's saved as a PDF, once they scan it into the system, into the computer and it's scanned as a PDF, the
Okay,
scans are searchable. So
Yeah, they're searchable by whatever you name the PDF.
that's right.
Then
Address
say,
or location or
then
whatever.
say 4 hours to find a septic, it takes us like 5 minutes.
yes, that's the problem.
so we'll see how far we get with this.
Yeah, and
Part
then
of
it's something you can revisit depending on
Yeah.
how far you get. Let us
Yeah.
know and then maybe
Just to make it more modern, more efficient, and
bring.
Yeah. What everything from 07
07
to now.
to present is already computerized. As far as the septic and the septic permit and the building permit, so we're gonna start backwards, like start with 2006 and go down.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess we moved through that pretty quickly, didn't we? Take a break and go ahead, or you want to go ahead correspondence first?
Two things.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
good. You're good.
I'm fine. It's not the world's biggest agenda today. There.
No.
Are we more efficient today for some reason?
No, it's smaller, man. Don't
Anything
tell them we're getting
on-
good, or they sack us off.
Anything on the correspondence?
No, only two
No.
things.
Just with some,
Nothing that really affects us.
nothing, no.
That really affects us. That I can see.
Nope.
Okay,
You haven't finished.
Green Highland. New and unfinished. Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, Community Culture.
So there's a resolution in your package for tonight for us to make our application, which needs to accompany the application. So it's just council endorsement.
Okay,
And fee increase for culverts, we discussed that.
yeah.
Was there a
There's a
resolution?
resolution in your package. for that as
Okay.
well.
Merv,
Have you really bought a deck of cards?
Merv,
That's the media already.
what do you got?
Showed up.
Should let me run everyone. Any questions? I'm good.
Speed demon.
Ambulance lease negotiations, that's in closed session, okay, so. Anyway,
There,
I guess that's it for council. Thank you all.
perfect.
See?
It was a rather short one.
Well, saw the agenda come in, so.
Take a break before going to closed session.
Yeah. we'll take
Sure.
a break.
Mhm.
See, we got no smokers at the table.